Hi everyone and welcome to our live stream this evening for Tutor to You. We are doing Unit 1 today, Human Lifespan Development, and we're going to start with Infancy. I've got Lynn with me here today. Hi Lynn.
Hi everyone, welcome.
So this is our first of a long list of live streams for the January exams for Units 1, 2, 3 and 4 and also BTEC Tech Award. I can already see in the chat that there's quite a few of you that were on grade booster courses last week with us, so that's fabulous. Lynn and I are fresh and hot out of the tour, so hopefully our revision is going to be our revision game is going to be absolutely on point, isn't it, Lynn?
Yes, good luck everyone. Please think about what you've learned in those lessons and bring it to us in the chat tonight, please.
Yeah, definitely. So please do type up your answers into the chat. That'd be great. Lynn is hopefully going to keep an eye on that for me.
Yep.
I'm dealing with all the technical stuff tonight, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it's all going to go well. So let's make a start. Okay, so as I said, we're going to do infancy this evening. So we've got a series of activities to help you revise your knowledge on infancy. So the first one is the lineup. If you came to our cinema tour, you'll know all about this one. So I'm going to give you some clues which describe one of those in the lineup, A, B, C or D. What I want you to do is as soon as you think you know the answer, type it in the chat and Lynn will start telling me what you guys are saying. Okay, so our first clue is starts in infancy. So out of those, A, B, C or D, which one starts in infancy? I think probably all of them. So not the most helpful clue yet. Let's have a look at the next one. It's the development of an ability. So think about what you know about your key terms and their definitions. Any guesses yet, Lynn?
No, I think everyone's holding fire and waiting to see. Let's see. Yeah. Normally number 3. Actually, Liz, we have got a guess. Somebody's Lubna said gross motor skills. So after that second one,
gross motor skills. Okay. Good guess, Lubna. So the next clue maybe helps you to decide whether that's correct or not. Uses the small muscles in the wrists and the hands. Do we have any more guesses? Let's give them a moment to think.
We started off with some B's, but now we seem to be moving towards D's.
Okay, yeah.
So let's have a look.
So the last clue, for example, turning pages of a book. Yep, everyone's saying I can see it now, loads of D's, and fine motor skills. Exactly, well done, guys. Okay, that was a nice little warm-up. So the next one, I now want you to think about those gross motor skills. So we've looked at fine motor skills, now I want to know about gross motor skills that develop in infancy. There's going to be a 30-second timer, so you've got loads of time to type as many gross motor skills from infancy into the chat that you can think of. That's our timer started.
So any gross motor skills? Let's see.
That's 10 seconds down.
Nice. A few coming in now, Liz, I can see.
Okay, great.
Brilliant.
15 seconds.
Oh, yeah, brilliant.
20 seconds elapsed. Got 10 seconds left, guys.
I definitely think we're going to have our 4. This is looking good.
Okay, good.
Some really good examples here. So let me tell you.
Okay, yep.
So we've got crawling, standing, grasping, or maybe grasping, jumping, walking, holding head up, trying to stand up, roll from front to back and vice versa, stepping, and then Zainab said hopping, skipping, kicking a ball. Some great examples there. Erica's talked about control of the head. Harvey's waving the arms from Harvey, and crawling, walking, sitting, grasping. What do we think of those, Liz?
Amazing, really good. The only one I'm not convinced about maybe is the grasping. I suppose it depends how much of a vigorous grasp we're talking about. If a baby is just grasping, so just holding a rattle in their hand, then that would be a fine motor skill. If they're having to kind of like reach right out, lean over and grasp something, the difference being that gross motor skills use the large muscles, so biceps in the upper arms, quadriceps in the top of your legs, and your core muscles, whereas fine motor skills are using the really small muscles in your fingers and your wrists and your hands. Okay, let's see what I have on the screen. So we have holding up the head, that's kind of the first. So we say that gross motor skills in infancy develop from top to toe, don't we? So control of the head is the first thing that the infant manages. Rolling over, sitting up without assistance, and crawling. So yeah, well done, guys.
Great answers there.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember in Unit 1, you need to link your 6 and 10 mark answers to theories and models. So we're going to look at some theorists and their theories that relate to infancy. And in the big reveal, what we do is we want you to try and guess what the theory or theorist is by looking at a series of clues and questions. So here we go. So clue 1, intellectual development follows a set sequence. So think about theorists that you know that look at intellectual development and those that say that there is a set sequence. So give me a guess if you want to at this point. I'll just give you a moment to think about that.
Takes a minute to type these things in sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we have had a few guesses. We've had Chomsky and Piaget so far. So let's
we definitely need more context, don't we? Because there are a few theories that have a set sequence. So clue 2, children learn through interaction with their environment. So now have another guess. See if this helps you to fine tune your guess. I can see quite a lot of people taking part tonight, which is brilliant.
We've got a few more Piagets, and then we've also got Gessel just come up.
Right, let's have a look at number 3. Children construct schemas. So who said that children construct schemas? This one should really give it away now.
Yeah, Lubna's back in with Piaget.
Yep.
A few more Piagets.
Okay.
What we're thinking.
So starts with the sensory motor stage. Yep. And acknowledges the influence of nature and nurture, which is Piaget's stages of cognitive development. So just to explain that last clue, so any theory that says that development follows a set sequence and is universal to all children across the world, you can say acknowledges that there is a nature factor there. So there's some kind of like biological pre-programming of our brain that means that we follow a set sequence. The same with like this idea about schemas. So schemas are the way that children construct their understanding of the world. So that's an idea that our brain, an infant brain, works in a particular way. So that's also a nature argument. But then Piaget is a sensible guy. He also says that children learn through exploring their environment. So the sensory motor stage. Sensory means they use their senses to explore, and motor means, you know, they're starting to use their gross and fine motor skills. They interact with their environment, and it's the interaction with the environment that helps children and infants change their schemas to adapt to new knowledge. So Piaget is nature and nurture. Let's have a look at our next one. So first clue, intellectual development follows a set sequence again. So we can't tell yet, can we, who this is? Children develop at their own pace. Anyone want to have a guess? I think this one's still quite tricky.
Yeah, a bit quiet on the chat so far.
But they cannot develop out of sequence. So this person thinks that the sequence really is really firm. Nothing can change it. It's very biologically determined.
Okay, we've had a Chomsky guess. Somebody said Chomsky down here. Yeah, so let's see. Are you going to change your mind as we go along?
So this person says that genetic makeup influences the pace of development. So if your development is a bit slower than your peers, then maybe that's something about your genetics. So some part of your DNA that is influenced by your parenthood. Any more guesses, Lynn?
Yeah, so now we've had a massive influx of Gessels.
Okay, brilliant. Okay.
Gessel, yeah.
Gessel, Jessel. We don't mind how you say it. So long as you can write it and hopefully spell it correctly in your exam, although there's no marks for spelling, so don't worry too much. So yeah, final clue focuses on the influence of nature, and you are all correct. Well done. So Gessel's maturation theory. So this idea that your body, your brain principally has to be biologically mature before you can move on to the next sequence in your intellectual development.
And well done to Lubna, who actually wrote Gessel's maturation theory all in one. Oh, that's fabulous. But Lubna, you forgot the L, the extra L on Gessel. So that's how you spell it.
All I can see is loads of Gessel, Gessel, Gessel flying through the chat. So that's brilliant. Okay, another big reveal. So our first clue, language is innate. So remember, if you've been on our cinema tour, you'll know that word innate means it's something that you're born with. It's pre-programmed into you. It's a biological thing. Next clue, all children are born capable of language. So this innate ability to speak. Okay,
so Dylan's written LAD. So I think that stands for language acquisition device. Rossi has written that underneath with also Chomsky involved. So we've got a few Chomskys here and a few LADs being written.
Amazing.
So there's a bit of a theme coming on here.
Yeah, so a hypothetical tool in the brain. So this is maybe not proven. It's just an idea that someone has, that we have maybe a tool in the brain. This theory discounts language development as the result purely of mimicry and imitation. So this theorist doesn't think that we develop language just because we see other people using it and we copy them. Everyone's still going with Chomsky in the chat, aren't they?
A lot of Chomsky, yep.
And focuses on the influence of nature. So this is very much a biological theory. Well done, guys. You are all correct. It is Chomsky's language acquisition device. So this idea that there is something in our brain that means that we're biologically primed to learn language and speak. And also there is an idea of Chomsky's that there is this universal grammar. So our brains will always try and use grammar and construct sentences grammatically. Fabulous. Okay. Think we need to take it down a bit and have a more chilled out one. So is this statement on the board now true or false? On the board, on the screen. So the statement is, life events can affect infants directly, but they can also be affected indirectly by their carers' life events. Is this statement true or false? So you can give me a smiley face or a sad face for this one to let me know your answer. So life events can affect infants directly, but they can also be affected indirectly.
Okay, it's had a big influx of truths, Liz.
Excellent, good.
Lots of truths.
Yep, exactly. So this is really important to remember, and sometimes, we forget this when we're answering a question. So infants, they're entirely dependent on others to have all their needs met. So physically, intellectually, emotionally, and socially. So that means that life events that affect their carers or their wider family can have a serious impact on an infant as well. So some of the things, I think we've got a question on it next, some of the things that you maybe don't always think about is the way that poverty might affect an infant. So, okay, an infant doesn't have their own income, but the income of their wider family and the context that they're in can have a really big impact on them. So, it's my stomach rumbling. Let's have a look. I would like you all to give me 3 impacts of family poverty on an infant. So imagine a family that has a low income. How could that impact on an infant? And try and be as specific as you can. And we're going to give you a 30-second timer. So I'm looking for some people that are really quick off the keyboard on this one. So we've already had the first 10 seconds.
We've got a few coming in. Harvey's doing great tonight. So's Rossi. So yeah.
20 seconds down, so only 10 seconds left.
Definitely going to get our 3, Liz.
Brilliant. Are they really specific as well?
Yeah, very good. Lots of nice health and social care terminology coming out here. So I've got malnutrition, excellent. Yep. Lack of shelter, lack of resources, poor physical, so could impact if you had asthma, for example. Mm-hmm. So if you had poor environment, housing, for example, low mental health, which may be less on the infant, but the infant could be very unsettled, couldn't they, and upset a lot of the time if their needs aren't being met. Growth could be stunted because obviously potentially not getting the right level of diet. So quite a lot about diet. Development of learning difficulties. So perhaps not getting the support they need if they do have a learning difficulty. Lack of heat in the body. And another one, quite a good one, not having the right nutrients in their diet and damp in their living situation can cause health problems such as asthma and also talk about lack of heat in the body. So not being warm can lead to...
Yep.
Yeah.
I like those really specific ones that link to like a specific factor to then an impact.
Very nice.
On like this one that's just come through, damp can cause health problems such as asthma. Yeah, very nice. Okay, let's have a look what I have on the screen. So difficulty affording good nutrition, and as many people said, that can cause malnutrition. Really important to use these key terms. There may be reduced opportunities for leisure or play. So if you came on our Grade Booster course, you'll know that we talked about how massively important play is and leisure time for the development of infants and young children in terms of, physical, intellectual, emotional and social. So if they don't have those opportunities, that can really hold back their development. And then obviously unsafe living conditions. Some of you guys were talking about damp conditions. Mold is a serious problem. It can cause respiratory diseases. And also, if the environment is unsafe, it can lead to things like accidents as well, can't it? So brilliant. Well done. You guys are fabulous.
People feeling happy with themselves in the chat, Liz.
Good.
Amazing. They got it right. They
said.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have a nice big pat on the back, isn't it?
Yeah. And it helps reaffirm what you do know. So that's really good.
Okay, so a bubble quiz. So in the bubble quiz, the number of answers that are correct can range from none of them, so 0, up to all 4. So your role is to guess which are the correct answers and type just the letters in the chat. So, first question. Which of these are biological factors that can affect infancy? A, congenital conditions. B, fetal alcohol syndrome. C, maternal infections, and D, maternal lifestyle. So have a think and tell me A, B, C or D. Remember, it could be none of them, 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, or 1 of them. Type in the chat what you think.
So let's have a look. Biological factors that can affect infancy. So Harvey is on fire tonight. So he said all of them.
Okay.
Let's see what others. Do you agree with Harvey, everybody else? Let's have a look. So a couple of people are going for, we've got a mix here, A, B and D. So not talking about C. Or Tyler's gone for B, C, D.
Okay.
A real mixture, actually, A's and B's. So quite a few people picking out ones that are correct. So nobody thinks none of them are. So that's good.
Right. So
let's see.
So Harvey is super quick and correct. They're all biological factors that can affect infancy. I'll just go through them one by one. So congenital conditions. The word congenital, or the term congenital, means born with. So these are conditions that are present at the time of birth. So they are definitely biological factors. So those are conditions that develop at some point between conception and birth. B, fetal alcohol syndrome. That's caused by consumption of alcohol by the mother during the pregnancy. What's really important to know is that we don't know if there is a specific amount of alcohol that causes fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, which is why generally in most countries in the world, it's recommended that you don't consume any alcohol now during pregnancy. It could be more of a timing issue than a volume issue. So there might be a particular time in the pregnancy when alcohol has a very damaging effect, but we haven't been able to fully identify that. Maternal infections refers to any infection or disease that a mother might acquire while she's pregnant. So, for example, salmonella poisoning can cause problems with the undeveloped fetus, which is why we have so many guidelines in the UK, at least, about what food is safe and not safe to eat during pregnancy. It's about avoiding contracting food poisoning. Measles during pregnancy can be very, very damaging to the unborn baby. And, lots of other things as well. And then maternal lifestyle, that links to your alcohol consumption, but also things like smoking and drug use. And we know that smoking can cause issues for unborn babies as well. Okay, let's have a look at the next bubble quiz question. Which of these are possible effects of fetal alcohol syndrome? So we said that fetal alcohol syndrome occurs due to alcohol consumption during pregnancy. So which of these are effects of fetal alcohol syndrome, which you might also know as FASD, which is fetal alcohol syndrome disorders? So let's see what you think.
Think about how many of those. And actually, Liz, while people are thinking about that, someone's written, I don't get how salmonella is genetic, though. So, Liz, maybe you could just explain how salmonella that the mother has potentially passes through to the baby.
Yep, so it's not that it's genetic, it is a biological factor. So genetics are included in biological factors, but other things are biological, such as infections. So if a mum gets food poisoning during the pregnancy, it can actually, the salmonella infection can be transmitted to the fetus and cause damage to the fetus.
Brilliant. So it's in a biological way, not in a genetic way. Yeah, that's the difference. Thanks, Liz.
Yeah.
So everybody's come straight off the back and said all of them.
Yep, absolutely. So fetal alcohol spectrum disorders cause a really huge, wide variety of issues and symptoms, and not everyone affected will have all of them. So issues with the heart and kidneys is quite a common one. Difficulty with emotional regulation. There is also, we think, possibly a link between fetal alcohol syndrome and ADHD, but that doesn't mean then that everyone with ADHD had fetal alcohol syndrome. It's just one of those things that there could be a link. Movement and balance issues and learning and concentration problems. And again, like there are lots of other diseases and infections that can cause these symptoms, but these are linked with fetal alcohol syndrome. Everyone's saying that how amazing they are in the chat, I see.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so which of these on the screen are possible effects of Down syndrome? A, B, C, D, some combination of, let me know.
So yeah, let's see if you're as good at this one as the others. So what are we going with? Sometimes it takes a minute to come through. What are we going for? A, B, C, D, or all of them, or none of them? Okay, so people feeling they're going for C, Harvey, C and D.
Okay.
Memi is C and A. Ashley is going all of them. Lubna's going all of them as well. And then a mixture, Liz, a real mixture.
Okay.
C's and D's, A's and B's. So yeah, let's have a look. See if Lubna's right. She is. Yes, well done.
So
Lubna.
it is all of them. So something that you need to remember for your exam is what Down syndrome is. So Down syndrome is a chromosomal disorder. It's not an inherited disorder. So if you're asked a question on it, refer to it as a chromosomal disorder. And what happens is there's a random duplication of chromosome number 21. So it's also known as trisomy 21. So that means there's 3 chromosome 21s instead of the usual 2. Okay, so and this just happens at random at some point around conception. And some of the effects of Down syndrome are digestive issues, heart defects, learning disabilities, and hearing impairments. Those are like the main ones. But again, there's lots of different effects, and every individual with Down syndrome is affected in a different way. Okay. So this is our final activity. This is a little bit harder because you've got to do lots of reading and lots of thinking. So we're going to show you a grid of 12 key phrases, and they can be grouped into 3 groups of 4. So there are 3 groups, each with 4 key phrases in the group, and I want you to try and find the connections. So remember, we're talking about infancy. Let's have a look on here. So you've got some single words and some statements, and there are 3 groups of phrases. So have a look and see what you think.
And maybe in the chat, if you spot a group, just write that group down, and then in your next comment, maybe write the next group.
Sure, because I think some are easier than others.
Yeah. So if you spot what you think is a group, write it in the chat, and maybe say what the connection is. That would be great. Okay, so Leclerc, you have said Emerson, Bowlby, Schiffer and Ainsworth. So the connection, tell me, Leclerc, what's the connection between all of those? Let's see.
Oh, I think maybe Angela said the connection. So
here we go. Yes, that's come through. Yep. So you're saying me they are all theorists. Brilliant. And Rossi says attachment theorists.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's more specific. I like that. So I think that is the first one, sorry. So, oh no, it's not. No. Don't give it away, Liz.
No, don't give it away. So tell us, what about another connection? Can you find another group of 3? Oh, group of 4, sorry. And tell us what the connection is. So brilliant. Yeah, Erica, we've got those ones. So the Bowlby, Ainsworth, and Schaffer and Emerson are all attachment theorists. Can we find the other connections? Let's have a look.
If we're finding it difficult, I can tell you one of the connections.
Okay, so Angel is talking about Bowlby secure attachments. So, but can you find what will you put in a group? Rossi's talking about maternal and paternal deprivation.
Okay, how about I tell you what the 2 connections are, and then you tell me what goes in those 2 groups. So the 2 connections are secure attachment and then insecure attachment. So tell me which ones are secure, features of secure attachment, which ones are features of insecure attachment.
Yeah, I think Angel and Rossi might be able to do that because they're starting to think that there was a theme there.
Yeah, they've got some really good ideas.
So what do you think might go into the secure attachment group? Okay, so Rossi said secure attachment is close bond with a primary caregiver. Brilliant. Yep. What else would you put in that group? So brilliant. You got one of those correct. What else goes into the secure attachment? Okay, we've got infant needs are met.
Brilliant. Yeah.
That's great. Yep. And then we've got, here we go. And then A2, close bond. B3, can form strong attachments in the future. Brilliant. And C1, infants' needs are met. Brilliant. And we've got, they're the main ones, aren't they, for that, I think. And then people are starting to talk about insecure attachments. And what have we got here? We've got separation anxiety. We've got maybe anxious throughout life, which is great. May cling or ignore caregivers. Brilliant. And separation anxiety.
Okay, let's have a look then. I think we're almost all the way there. So
let's have a look.
Separation anxiety is actually a feature of securely attached infants. So if you imagine an infant of 4 to 6 months has a really strong close bond with their primary caregiver. They know that their needs are always met by their mother or their father. And then when they get to around 7 months, 8 months old, they're going to childcare for the day. Mum or dad drops off the securely attached infant who's used to having their mum there all the time. And they're going to cry. They're going to be upset because they've been separated from the person that they have that really strong attachment with. So that is a normal behaviour of secure attachment. And obviously, we know that those infants that have strong attachments in infancy have then the ability to form strong attachments themselves with others in future. So that could be best friends at school, intimate partners in adolescence and early adulthood. And then when they have their own children, they're very good at forming attachments with their own children. Whereas with insecure attachment, those infants are those that are unsure if their needs are going to be met. So perhaps maybe their mum or dad is inconsistent in responding to their cues. They may find it then difficult to trust others throughout life. That means that they might be very clingy to their pet caregivers because, they're not sure if they'll ever come back, or they might just ignore them. They might just think, oh, well, do you know what? They don't meet my needs anyway, so I'm just going to not engage with them. And that can make an infant into an anxious child, an anxious adolescent, and an anxious adult. And those infants grow up to be people that find it more difficult to form attachments with others. Okay, I think we've got to the end of our infancy live stream. Oh yeah, attachment theorists was the last one. You guys knew that straight off. That was brilliant. So yeah, we've got to the end of our infancy live stream. You've all been fabulous. I think we're doing, let me just check my notes. Yep, next Monday, 5 p.m, we're doing early childhood and adolescence. Just a reminder, it's 40 days till your exam from today. And next week it'll be 33 days, so it'll be getting even more pressing. If you're doing any of the other units, please do join us. All of the links are in the chat. That's fabulous. Do subscribe to our channel. It really it helps you guys because then you get notified of when we do new revision live streams. So yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much.
Well done,
and take care.
Brilliant effort.
See you next week.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. See you. Bye.